38 to 40, huh? 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 I think I briefly outlined this yesterday, but I'm thinking of doing a recap for the 40th one. So basically just a kind of a summary. I won't go into that now, but yeah, so the 40th one I think is going to be basically a summary of what the fuck has happened in the last 6 months. The first one, so the one that comes after 40, is going to be the first of something. It might just start at like 1. I don't know. But I think the 40 will go down, collectively the 40 will go down in my own little history book as throwing caution to the wind, just kind of doing it, saying fuck it, and seeing what kind of happened. And bearing that in mind, I want to push the boat out a little, I think, for the next one. And so this one, I think, is going to be me getting my head around what I'm going to do for the next one. The next one's going to be weird. But weird in a good way. At least I think it's weird in a good way. Weird in the way I did that thing to music, and the way I kind of recorded the speech, and the way I recorded the poem. That kind of weird. But not a poem and not a speech. Something possibly to music, I don't quite know, but whatever it is, it's going to be embarrassing. And the idea behind that is because I think people are just so fucking shit scared of doing anything off the lead, basically, to use my own kind of phrase. It's one thing that I've been just, I suppose, fucking blown away by to a degree, is the amount of people who said that, you know, that love what you're doing, think it's brilliant, would love to come on, but I'm not coming on, and won't come on, not in a million fucking years. And look, it's not for everyone. Granted, that's fine, but just the sheer, I was going to say amount or volume or something like that, but percentage is a better word. The high percentage of people who, and it's not even as if they said that they didn't want to do it. It's people who do want to do it, but won't, because they're afraid of what they'll say, because they're afraid of it, you know, backfiring on them somehow in the distant future or something. It's so fucking strange. It's just, I don't know. It's been eye-opening, to say the least. It really has. There's this undercurrent in our society whereby people are just fucking terrified of stepping outside the box at all, and you know, they're just afraid of peeking out above that parapet lest they get their fucking head blown off. And I'd like to think that even this here and now, me essentially just talking out loud to myself and broadcasting my internal dialogue, I really like to think, and this is essentially the whole fucking point of it, I would like to think that it will, what's the word, it'll embrazen, is that a word? It is now. It'll embrazen people, like it'll give people, maybe people will feel like they can do more themselves. Like they see me talking for hours on end to other people and myself, and say to themselves, if he can do that, maybe I can do it for 5 minutes, or maybe I can write something and upload it, because at least then I can, you know, cross my T's and dot my I's. And I'm not expecting people to, you know, start writing poetry or fucking recording speeches or, you know, doing shit to music or, you know, swimming in a fucking frozen lake in the middle of winter or any of that. That's all a bit fucking mad and all a bit kind of touched, and that's fine. I'm a bit mad and I'm a bit touched, and I think we all are to you know, one degree or another. But I think what separates myself, and I just literally, this is coming to mind speaking out loud. I think I said this to Patter, or it came up in the text message that he read out. It's not that I lack the fear of doing these things. It's that I lack the fear of fear, if that makes any sense. And that's something that I really think I want to get across to people. And I think that's one of the main messages. And it's one thing saying, you know, you should be off the lead, but I think people should lead by example. And I think that if I can do what I'm doing now, which is just basically just spitballing, talking out loud. I'm not reading a script. I'm just letting it fucking flow out of me, to just essentially to see what the fuck I say. And people seem to like that. People, one guy in particular, Tony Webster, I've mentioned him a couple of times. Tony will be on the show soon enough, you know, fingers crossed. But again, another man, he's, you know, hesitant. Now, there was an issue with his work there for a while, but I think that has subsided. And, you know, I'm not going to go into the man's business, but there are God knows how many people in a similar position. Said they'll come on, but just, you know, aren't ready. Whatever the hell that means. And what I think it means is, at least in some cases or instances, that they're, you know, I don't know, waiting to fucking either build up the courage, or maybe they're getting their thoughts straight, or maybe they're waiting to see how this whole off the lead thing progresses. Maybe they're afraid of associating themselves with views that I have that they don't hold. Or look, there's a whole plethora of reasons why people wouldn't and indeed shouldn't come on. Okay, but there seems to me to be this undercurrent of fear, and I think we have it in our society. And I've been promoting this idea of, you know, getting yourself off the lead. And I think I've been underestimating people's aversion to that. I've been referring to it as, look, you know, we've become overly domesticated and blah, 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 blah. And that's all fine, but maybe it's easy for me to say, you know, come on and speak freely. There seems to be like a genuine fear amongst people, and it's this fear that I really want to address. This fear of, I don't know what it is exactly. And I'd be intrigued to know, like, surely someone out there has an inkling as to what it is the fuck I'm talking about. Like, to me, I think that this country is jam-packed full of poets and writers and film directors and musicians and singers and dancers and martial artists and all sorts of amazing people, but not people who are doing these things. People who would love to do these things, but can't, because there's this, I don't know, there's just this inherent fear. And maybe it's an evolutionary thing. Because evolutionarily speaking, it didn't make sense to stand out from the crowd. Because standing out from the crowd and being different, that's what got you eaten by lions, you know, that kind of way. But if you just blend in with everybody around you, like this herd mentality, I don't know if we're a herd animal, but we certainly can be herded. And I think that's what's happened in our society. We're not individuals. We're not the individuals that we should be, at least. And again, the point that I'm trying to labour to make, or the point that I'm labouring to make, is this is 38. 39 is going to be weird. 39 is me just going to be, you know, saying fuck it. I'm just doing something. I have something picked out in my head, but I won't divulge that just now. But it's going to be a bit mad. It's going to be something that I've never done before. It's going to be completely, totally and utterly out of my comfort zone. And you know something? People are going to laugh their fucking asses off at me for doing it. Like they laughed their asses off at me for you know, writing that speech to music and writing the bit of poetry and doing other things. They're going to laugh their fucking asses off. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. Because the type of people who belittle people for, you know, trying something new or doing something different are the worst kind of people. And fuck them. Anybody who would belittle somebody or make fun of somebody for doing something different and standing out from the crowd and trying to fucking progress things for either themselves or their societies, anybody that would look down or belittle somebody that does that can fuck right off. I mean, you know, maybe you don't care either way. Maybe you're just maybe you just see it as being, oh yeah, you know, whatever. But, you know, fuck you too, like. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something weird. And that's not to encourage other people to do things as weird, but it's to encourage people to just step outside their comfort zone and just realise that nothing bad will come of it. On the contrary, the way I see it is, you've nothing to lose and everything to gain. Like, I was filled with so much fucking anxiety over doing the speeches and the poems and the whole fucking blind buy thing. Like that was a rough, couple of days or week or so when I uploaded that stuff, and just putting yourself out there, and I don't know, it was fucking hard. But it was 15 episodes ago, and it's kind of ancient history already, and it was only a couple of weeks ago. And I'm gonna fucking stick my neck out tomorrow again, or not tomorrow, but in episode 39, I'm gonna go right on ahead and I'm gonna stick my neck out, and haters are gonna hate, and fuck them. And if one person hears it and says to themselves, do you know what, I've been meaning to do that thing, and if this fucking lunatic can do that and the other things that he's done, why can't I? And I suppose that's where I get my kicks, is it's inspiring other lads and ladies. When I say lads, that's, I mean that across fucking sexes and across ages and genders and races and fucking creeds and colours and all sorts. I love that idea of inspiring someone, and I love, better than inspiring someone, it's doing something which in turn inspires somebody. And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with progressing this whole fucking enterprise on a little bit further? And I think the reason that I found myself doing it is because fucking nobody else seems to be doing it. Like who do you know that stepped out of their comfort zone and done something a bit mad or a bit weird? That wasn't on the back of, sculling 40 pints at the weekend. Or wasn't a trick shot at the fucking five-a-side. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Well, it's like, do you know somebody? Do you know anybody? And if you do, fucking send them my way. Because that's another thing. I know that there will be people that will laugh at what I'm about to do and what I have done, and fuck them. I don't give a shit. But cool people have gravitated towards me since. They really have. And that's something maybe to ponder upon. Look, and maybe you don't need to. Maybe you've got the coolest friends in the world, and maybe they're all really decent people, and maybe you encourage each other like fuck, left, right and centre, all the time, relentlessly. And if you do, fair fucking play to you. I'm so fucking envious of you, it's unbelievable. But the likelihood of that being true is practically fucking nothing. But one thing that I found on my journey is that the more that I do, the more I step outside my comfort zone, the more I try new things, the more like-minded people I meet. And the better a person I've become for that. And I've helped other people in turn improve their lives. And it's not what it's all about. Like, we're all in this together. Like, I genuinely believe that by building a small community, I call mine off the lead, you can call yours whatever, or you can jump on board on mine, the more the fucking merrier. I think that we can really change. Like, you'll hear me say change the world, but what is the world? The world is who you interact with on a daily basis. I think the phenomenon of TV and radio and telecommunications has been fantastic. I mean, for a start, it's given me the chance to speak to literally thousands of people all over the world, and that's fantastic. But people who want to change the world, put it this way, people who wanted to change the world 100 years ago, they set up, community gardens and set up functions in their local community halls, or set up GAA clubs. These days, if you want to change the world, you have to solve fucking world hunger, or you have to, tear down capitalism and reconstruct a utopian socialist fucking democracy, or whatever the fuck mad fangled fucking notion you have of the perfect world. We almost aspire so big that it's just unattainable and always, and will always be perpetually out of reach. And again, me that loves my little sayings, and I've said this before, we overestimate what we can do in a short period of time and underestimate what we can do in a long period of time. Don't try and change your life around between now and the weekend. But how different could your life be in 6 months if you put your mind to something? Ask yourself that. Like, what would you change about yourself? Maybe it's your weight. Maybe it's your fucking level of fitness. Maybe it's the fact that you haven't really done anything in 20 fucking years and you're kind of sick of it. Maybe you're afraid of introspection. Maybe every time you look inward, you kind of realize that you're not all that you could be or want to be or should be, and maybe it terrifies the fuck out of you. Maybe you're not on the path that you thought you would be. But fucking know this, you're on a path. You mightn't be on the right one, you mightn't be on the worst one, but you're on one. Make no fucking mistake about it. You are on a path, and at the end of that path is a headstone. Or an urn, or whatever the fuck way you want to go. And you can decide to go left, right, straight, up, down, backwards, any which way you choose. And you get to fucking choose the people who join you on that journey. And you get to help other people on their journeys. And who knows, maybe I'm kind of fostering a community of sorts, of like-minded people, of people who, you know, want a little bit more for themselves and their families and their friends and their communities. Maybe you want to contribute. Maybe you don't know how. But again, I've said this before, if you're only listening, you're missing the fucking point. Send me an email. Send your friend an email. Write to a politician. Write to a musician. Go fucking reach out to somebody you admire. Better still, go and tell them you admire them. Send them a fucking text message or WhatsApp them or stick something up on Facebook or LinkedIn or something. Just reach out to somebody. Hey man, you know, been following your pictures on Instagram. Keep it up, man. Love your work. Fair play to you. Do something positive in the world. Because you change your own little world and you change everybody else's too. And there's no upper limit to what we can do as a community. Tomorrow's going to be weird. I've already practiced it. It is weird. I've made a couple of recordings. It's been terrible. But fuck it. Fuck it, I'm going to do what I can to lead by example. And that might sound very kind of grandiose and big-headed and egotistical, but who gives a fuck? Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to go home to my house with herself and the kids. My mom's going to be my mom. My brothers and sisters are going to be my brothers and sisters. The people that I hang around with, for the most part, I know all my life, realistically. The exceptions to that are, you know, my brothers from other mothers, from either jiu-jitsu or MMA. And more recently, this fucking podcast. And if you've been following my internal dialogue and the conversations that I've been having with people over the last 6 months, odds are you know me better than somebody who's known me fucking 20 years and who isn't listening. And the reason for that is quite simple. Because in our day-to-day lives, the conversations that we have with each other are so fucking vacuous and meaningless and pointless and banal and boring and, oh God, if I have to sit through another one of those conversations, oh, well lad, how are you? Oh, yeah, good, yeah, you? Yeah, grand. Fucking hell, pull the linchpin. Another thing I've said many a time on this platform of mine is, it's well regarded that we have, you know, a problem speaking about our mental health and other such things. Fuck that, man. We just have a problem speaking. Full fucking stop. Even to ourselves. We're not honest about the conversations that we even have with ourselves. We're not honest to ourselves even. But hopefully, what I've been doing is making a difference. To you, personally, you, the person that I'm speaking to right now. Hopefully it has made a difference to you. Because it has made a difference to other people. I know that for an absolute fact because I've heard from them. And it's been insanely beneficial to me. Absolutely unbelievably beneficial to me. So if you're one of those people who haven't contacted me, I hope you're getting something out of it. I genuinely do. Then again, I suppose you wouldn't be fucking here if you weren't. You're getting something out of it, hopefully. And I, for one, sure as shit, I'm going to continue with these solo ones because it's just been fucking brilliant. And here's one for you. On what I'm going to do when I finish up the 40. So as I said, this is just getting my head straight around the next one. The next one, number 39, is going to be a bit crazy. The 40th will be a recap and number 1 will be the first of something. That's something I think, as it stands, that something is going to be me explaining the world as I understand it. Basically. Me getting across essentially my worldview. I'm not sure what way I'm going to run it. I'll probably run with where I see society now and either go backwards, so tell the story in reverse, or maybe tell it as I see now and then skip to the start. The start literally being the Big Bang. Because there's so much stuff I know about just the universe, basically. Like, it's just mad stuff, like fucking black holes and supernovas and the fucking space-time continuum, and like it's just fascinating stuff, like from the micro to the macro, from the size of the observable universe down to the subatomic particles and everything in between. It's just like there's no better story. And the better understanding that you have of that story, the better able you'll be to orientate yourself in the world and be a productive person and essentially have a good fucking life. And nothing that I'm going to say or nothing that I have said is fucking new. This shit has been out there for fucking ever. I'm just regurgitating other people's stuff. You don't need to listen to me to hear any of this shit. This shit is it's out there and it's all readily available. But for whatever reason, a certain percentage of people are going to gravitate towards me, who won't gravitate to Neil deGrasse Tyson or Christopher Hitchens or Sam Harris or Jordan Peterson or Noam Chomsky or any of the other people that I've gravitated to over the years. They suited me, they don't suit other people. But I would love to think that there'll be more of me, because I'm only going to reach a certain amount of people. There's only a certain percentage of people, and presumably a relatively small percentage of people, who are going to gravitate to me and my style and how I say things. And how I get my points across and how I do what I do. So what I'd love to see is other people doing their version of what I'm doing, so that the people that gravitate towards them have someone to fucking gravitate to. Because I think the more people in our society who have a better understanding of science, of spirituality, of politics, of religion, of culture, of just society in general, and different cultures and different societies and different aspects of just life. Anthropology, man, Jesus Christ, I could write a book on anthropology. It's the most interesting fucking thing ever. The history of our species, essentially. Where we came from, why we think the way we think, why we do what we do, why we're not as logical or as rational as we'd like to think we are, why we're all fucking lunatics for the most part. So fucking interesting. So episode 1 of whatever it's going to be, I think, is going to be my interpretation of the world as I see it. And I hope you come and join me, and I hope you tell your fucking mates about it, and I hope this whole thing fucking grows, and I hope to do it full time. I hope to be self-sufficient. The patrons are coming in, the subscribers are coming in. This whole thing is fucking gaining traction. I'm at it a wet week and it's already fucking earning me, a certain amount of money a month. It's pittance, like, do you know what I mean? It's already cost me more than it's fucking made me. But fuck it. Like, the business that I run, when I started it, it didn't make any money either. I lost my bollocks when I started this business, as most people do. Now, I don't mean to say that to turn you off starting your own business. My business was started on a shoestring. I say I lost my bollocks. I didn't really, because I didn't put a whole pile into it at the start. I started off small and I grew it. And you can do that. And business is another topic that I'm going to fucking cover, because people think that it's hard. It's not. It really isn't. There's just so much to talk about. I'm excited to start afresh. And as I said, I'm going to just stick my neck out and go a little bit nuts tomorrow. Or maybe not tomorrow, but whenever I get it up. So let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know what you think of the whole fucking thing from start to finish. imoffthelead@gmail.com will get me. If you want to financially support me, you'll get me on. Just Google Patreon Off the Lead. You can donate €1 a month or more, or a once-off donation, whatever. Every little helps. Thanks for listening, and I'll chat to you soon with something weird. Good luck.